We've been in Portugal for just over 4 years now, and for those of you who haven't seen our channel, we are Michael and Cheryl, two musicians who moved from the US in the summer of 2021, and we moved to Portugal sight unseen.
4 years in now. 4 years of trying to learn the Portuguese language. 4 years of life in which we've walked with both feet on the ground, taking in so much about this beautiful, colorful, charming, and sometimes bewildering country.
So first, let's reiterate that we love living here. In fact, we filmed a series of videos to share some of the many things that we love and appreciate about Portugal. The food, the incredible nature, the people, the culture, the art. There's so much to discover and enjoy here.
But after 4 years, we've also learned some lessons about this country that we have to admit took us by surprise. With all the good, we've also been hit by some difficult experiences along the way.
We can't make this video without mentioning a current issue that's affecting us and many thousands of other people who have become residents of Portugal. At this moment, the government is in the process of changing the law regarding the terms of how a person can become a citizen.
Yeah, the plan is to make it much harder to become a citizen. We're not sure about the ultimate outcome or what it will be and how it will affect us. So right now this leaves us and a lot of other people with a lot of uncertainty. It's difficult to make plans when the rules are changing. And there are also other problems regarding maintaining your residency in Portugal, which we'll touch on later in this video.
When the decision regarding the citizenship law is final, we might make a video in response to the outcome. But in this video, we're going to talk about our 4 years here and our experiences up to this point. We're going to share the honest truth about both the good and the bad, the things that affect our everyday life, and things that might surprise you when you live in Portugal. And it's not just us, a lot of our Portuguese friends agree with us on these things.
Every country has its quirks. So when we share these little idiosyncrasies, we're going to share them with love, humor, and always our ongoing appreciation of Portugal.
Now, when we first got off the plane in Porto on a sunny morning in early July 4 years ago, we were totally exhausted from our all-night flight, but so excited to be here. Everything was completely new. So we had hired a driver to pick us up in our huge suitcases, and he took the long, leisurely route, driving us through Matosinhos, stopping to show us the ocean. He drove us slowly through all the beautiful sights in Porto, proudly showing us this colorful, fascinating city. And he even helped us figure out how to use an ATM to get money to pay our new landlord. It was a great introduction to Portugal with the kindness and welcoming nature of this new Portuguese friend that we met.
Later, after we had unpacked a bit, we walked down to the Ribeira and we sat down by the water, taking in the port boats, the seagulls, the sparkling sunlight, and the breeze ruffling the water. We sat with a glass of wine and we listened to a busker play on the old cobblestone wharf, marveling at the beautiful bridge and the port houses on the other side of the river. We were really here, and we were really on our new adventure.
From then on, we enjoyed many incredible days of discovery. We also slowly began to figure things out in the everyday portion of life, like how and where to buy things that we needed, and how to do all the normal, responsible functions of life in this country. Things like banking and getting long-term medical insurance and getting our phones to work for two countries that took us a long time.
Everything was different, and mainly we enjoyed the challenge. We moved 3 times in 2 years, all in Porto, before we finally bought our house, which in itself was a monumentally different experience compared to America.
And in these past 4 years, we learned a lot about this country. We've met people, both Portuguese and other travelers like us, who have become good friends. We've slowly begun to assimilate and to feel Portugal seeping into our own blood. We've had some amazing experiences, and we've had a few that were more difficult.
Everyone's story is different. When people move to a new country, they experience things they didn't expect. That's just part of the package. It would be the same if we were Portuguese moving to the United States.
So when we share our experiences, remember that they are just that, our own experiences, because we love Portugal and we're grateful to have been able to come and to have this huge adventure that we're having now in our lives.
With all that in mind, here are 6 areas that threw us a big learning curve after moving to Portugal.
So the first one we'll talk about is the climate. This is an easy one. So first of all, in general, the weather here can be pretty surprising. They say Portugal gets an average of about 300 days of sunshine per year, and that it gets more sunny days than any other country in Europe. And I think that's partially true, But in Porto and in the north, the winters have long bouts of rainy times, or what we personally like to call the monsoon weather, where the rain can pour down violently for days and nights on end. Inside the homes can be very damp, and a mist can even form on the floors and on the walls, and there's a good chance there's mold hiding behind that paint or the wallpaper, or in your closet on your shoes, on your clothes, your hats.
Not that that's ever happened to us. Mold is a real issue here in Portugal. You see it all over the place. Mold on the outsides of the buildings, or on the ceilings of restaurants, and maybe even in your own house. It's very difficult to get rid of. Yeah. It's very difficult to fight, and it can be a constant battle.
And then there's the temperatures.
Yeah. I'm from New York, and I'm used to cold, long, snowy winters. But I've never been as cold in my entire life as I've been sitting inside my own house in Portugal. The homes are mostly not insulated, and they rarely have heating. The walls are stone, and the floors are tile. And those tiles can literally feel like you're walking on a glacier. Like when you go into the bathroom in the middle of the night and it's just so cold and you don't want to put your feet on the floor. Central heating and air conditioning are extremely rare. Often we've been inside our own home wearing multiple layers of thick shirts and jackets. And I might have on 3 pairs of socks, and I'm still cold. Yeah, I wear like 2 pairs of socks to bed. It's terrible. Between the coldness and the dampness, it can easily be colder inside than it is outside.
Yeah, it's all about huddling next to space heaters in the winter.
Where's your other hand? Between 2 pillows. Those aren't pillows.
And then on the flip side is the hotter time of the year in Portugal. And the further you live inland from the coast, the hotter it is. Hot weather in the US is annoying, but it's doable. We used to suffer through blistering temperatures all summer long in Austin, Texas, but it was reasonably okay. But that's because when it's hot in the US, anywhere you go, AC is blasting at you. You could be inside a restaurant, a store, and of course your own home. But in Portugal, very few places have AC. And if they do, they probably don't have it on.
And if they do have it on, it's definitely not going to be those refreshingly low temperatures that you get in the United States buildings. Electricity is so expensive here, so if the AC is on, it's just taking the edge off. Whether you're in the airport or the grocery store, I've been standing in line in the grocery store in the heat, high-end restaurants, riding on the metro, you're probably going to sweat in the summertime. You're going to be like, I know they have AC, but it's just not on, or if it is, it's just barely on.
And don't get us started on trying to sleep in the heat. We have a couple of mini-split AC units, but neither one is in our bedroom. So at night we turn on 2 fans, high blast towards our bed, and sometimes it's still too incredibly hot for us to sleep.
A lot of people drive to coastal towns to get cooled off during the day. A town that's just 20 or 30 minutes away could be like a completely different climate.
Of course, you might fare much better than us if you get a home with a high energy rating. They rate every home on a grading system, with A being the best. And if your home gets decent sun exposure, that also helps. But that combination can be hard to come by, especially if you have other criteria, like you need space for a recording studio and a grand piano. I don't know why we brought the piano. Most homes are actually like a D or an F unless they're new builds or well renovated.
When we go outdoors, we've also learned to bring layers of clothing wherever we go most of the year. Because you can be walking down one street in the warm sun, just baking away, and then you turn the corner and you find yourself on another street that's shaded with a cold wind blowing, and you feel like you just entered an alternate universe.
Or it can be sunny one minute and then rain can suddenly be pouring down on you. And then it can be sunny again minutes later. You can't base your ideas of weather and temperature on your previous experiences, that's for sure.
Yeah. On the other side of that coin, you can have weeks and months of awesome weather in Portugal. Sunny, not too hot, not too cold. It's kind of absolutely beautiful, perfect Goldilocks weather.
Yeah.
And of course, you're in a land of castles and all kinds of amazing things to see and do.
Yeah, there is definitely always something new to discover and enjoy in this relatively small but diverse country.
So next on our list, we have regulations or the lack thereof. Unlike in the United States, when people can sue a corporation if they fall in the parking lot or if their coffee is too hot, Portugal is not a litigious country. Lawsuits are hard and expensive, they take forever, and they rarely provide a good outcome. So you'll see, for example, that there are no barriers on high castle walls.
Yeah, people can climb up there and walk on the ledges, but if they fall, it's your own stupid fault. And that brings a certain sense of freedom, but also personal responsibility.
But in that same vein, there's also a lack of regulations over things like, say, buying a house. In the United States, there are tons of rules and regulations. Home inspections are long and detailed, and the home seller has to correct every single issue in the home. Realtors have to be very careful, be truthful, and disclose everything, or they could be fined or even lose their license.
Yeah.
But in Portugal, real estate is the wild, wild west.
Yeah, home sellers often deliberately cover up issues with a home, and they make it look visually polished and you can possibly get a home inspection, but it's not going to be detailed like those in the US because people just aren't trained to do that here. It's not the norm. So you could buy a home with toilets that don't actually work, hidden mold and moisture issues, leaky roof lines, electrical issues. These are all the things that happened to us, and we never knew until after we bought the place, no matter how hard we tried to do our due diligence.
It's the same with any purchase here, including cars, especially when you buy them from private owners. You have to be really careful because people can seem so nice, and you might find yourself to be too trusting.
Yeah, you might even take the car you want to buy to a mechanic to have it thoroughly checked out before you buy it without knowing that the mechanic is secretly friends with the seller. We're not saying that that happened to us, but...
Yeah, not at all. Next, we're going to talk about the information systems in Portugal. One of the interesting things about Portugal is that people use the ATM all the time. You can't get cash out of your bank account when you're at a cash register making a purchase like you can in the United States. So you need to use an ATM. But here in Portugal, people can also use ATMs to pay bills, like their electric bills. The ATMs can do many tasks, so that's kind of interesting.
But online systems here are just not quite optimal. I mean, at this moment, hundreds of thousands of residents who have needed to renew their residency visas have been struggling for months or even years because the government website, it just doesn't work properly, or they never get processed, for example. And this makes it really difficult for these residents to be able to leave the country because they worry that you might not be able to come back in. It's a huge problem that a lot of people are facing right now. You may have heard that bureaucracy is an issue in Portugal, and we're here to say that it truly is.
And beyond the bureaucracy that happens in Portugal and the problems with that, in everyday life, most businesses don't even maintain an online presence. They might have a website, but they don't look at it. They never answer emails. And even their in-person presence can be pretty casual. Their hours might be listed on the door, but they might be closed with no explanation after you walked all the way there. It's just par for the course here, and everyone kind of rolls with it.
And when it comes to information online that you want to find out about something, you want to know something, like if you want to find reviews about a mechanic, or if you want to know if there are any bands playing in town even, where's the music at, you're going to be hard-pressed to find that information. People don't just put information online in Portugal, and word of mouth is the main form of communication.
As musicians and artists, we discovered that there are no central websites in town where we can find out about gigs or venues or musicians or connecting with other people. There's just nothing.
And even for normal needs, it's really hard to find people like reliable plumbers, certainly not from any online sources. You kind of have to know a guy who knows a guy, that kind of stuff. And for us, having a house that needs some work and getting good people to help with that's been a challenge.
And one more thing about the information systems in Portugal. If you try to send an email for personal or business reasons, there's a good chance that you will get ghosted. Many people here don't respond to emails at all. And it's even hard if you try to call them. You usually have to go in person. Maybe you can call, but in person seems to be like the best way to communicate. And if you want to solve a problem, that's really what you have to do. You have to take that time. And if you do go, like to a government office or a bank, be prepared to take a number as soon as you walk in that door and wait, like for hours.
Long time.
Often it's hours and hours. People are used to waiting patiently here.
But maybe that speaks to a few things. Portugal is a personal country. Families and friends gather for long afternoons on Sundays, or they hang out at outdoor cafes, visiting with each other. They don't seem to be in a rush to get on to other things. They value spending time in community. They don't think spending their evenings online or scrolling through social media or watching Netflix is good enough. And that is a beautiful way to live.
Okay, so we really can't give this update without mentioning taxes. Everyone loves taxes. When we came to Portugal, we were fortunate to take part in NHR, which is the non-habitual residency tax regime. That regime is no longer available in the same form as when we got it, but it gives us a lower tax rate than the normal rate for the country, and it lasts for 10 years. The normal tax rate in Portugal is a graduated rate that goes up to 48% of your income, and that's in the highest bracket, and it's graduated. But it's not cheap. But that's not the only issue you can have with taxes.
Yeah, we didn't know anything about the Portuguese tax system when we moved here, so we hired an accountant to help us. And this accountant was recommended as being an expert with taxes for the expats. Well, unfortunately, he made several major errors with our taxes, and it has cost us a lot of money.
Yeah, it ain't over yet. We had to hire a lawyer to help us correct the situation, and that is very expensive and can take years. And then, whoever's in the tax office reviewing your case doesn't really make the decision objectively.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
There's a saying in Portugal, a minha secretária, as minhas regras, which means my desk, my rules. There are a lot of gray areas in Portuguese tax law, so your results will depend on the mood of the person who got your case that day, how they interpret the law, whether they had enough coffee that morning, or whatever. So through this process, we've learned to be very careful about who we hire for important issues like accounting.
Mm-hmm.
Even if someone's recommended, they might not really know how to handle your specific situation.
They can never make you their animal.
Now, while taxes can be higher here in Portugal than in the US, healthcare and healthcare insurance is so much more affordable. We never have to wonder how terrible the medical bills are going to be. We can get medications affordably or even free that cost ridiculous amounts in the US. So to us, the peace of mind that this brings is priceless. Okay, now we're going to talk about driving. Now, driving might seem like a strange topic to have learned about, but for more than 2 years after we moved to Portugal, we used public transportation, the metro, which is awesome, a few Ubers here and there, and we walked a lot.
Yeah, but when we moved to our new town, we needed a car. So suddenly, we were driving on the highways in our town and in Porto. Many drivers here are fine, of course, but for some drivers here, there's a whole different style of driving. People may drive with complete disregard for the dash lines on the highway, just straddling them. They may drive literally in your lane as they're passing you, so close that you could spit on their car. They may move into your lane right after passing you, so close to your front bumper that your heart almost stops. You might come around the bend of a narrow road to see a car just barreling towards you over the line in your lane. These things can make driving a very exciting experience, to say the least. And something like this happens just about every time we drive. Many drivers don't use signals to change lanes either, so they may change lanes randomly for no reason whatsoever. And you have to be fully watching and be a really good defensive driver. It's just the way it is here.
And you don't get afraid on the freeway or driving?
No, never.
She closes her eyes most of the time.
No, that's it.
And then there's the parking. Double parking right in the driving lane is very normal. So you have to pass in the oncoming traffic lane. You'll often see parking on the sidewalk. It's crazy what they do here. They'll park on both sides of a narrow street so that you aren't even sure you can fit through the road. It's crazy.
Yeah, the roads are already narrow enough to begin with, and then they're parking on both sides. It's insane. On top of all these, exciting things that happen when you drive, driving is kind of expensive, too. It's not just the gas, which is, of course, quite pricey. It's also the tolls and the taxes and the parking fees, which helpfully come right out of your bank account because you have this little ticker in your car that just keeps taking that money out every time you drive.
Yeah, the car sensor.
Yeah, and it's really reliable, but, it's really expensive.
But considering all of those issues, it's nice to have the freedom to be able to drive to all kinds of hidden away places and discover those. And it's also great to be able to park at the train station in our town and take the train, which is very affordable, it's comfortable, it's relaxing, it goes to all over Portugal. You can take a train, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, we have a really cute train station in Santa Teresa. And it's so true that if you take the train, you can go up to Viana do Castelo, which is this beautiful town by the sea, or you can go to the Douro Valley, to the beautiful wine country with the incredible tiered vineyards. And these are just the kind of adventures you can have just on a whim by hopping on a train. What an amazing life. Now we want to talk about opportunities for music. As we're musicians, we can't make this video without talking about our experiences with live music opportunities here in Portugal. When we first moved to Porto, we were excited about the prospects of playing as musicians and artists here. We had arrived during the pandemic and everything was shut down, of course, so we kind of thought or hoped that this was the reason that there were so few venues, even in a good-sized city like Porto. We hoped that this would change when the world opened up again.
And what we found was that Portugal is not really a country that supports live music. There are venues, but most of them are really just small, cleared spaces in front of a window in a restaurant, like a few tables and chairs were shoved out of the way. Not a lot of stages or listening rooms with any kind of lighting or sound for shows. There's very few of those kinds of actual venues.
Yeah, and the music that's played in most of the places is either cover songs or traditional music, or it might be like heavy rock music. There's not a great scene though for original music.
Well, that's because Porto is a tourist town, so
Yeah.
they do a lot of covers. But part of the problem is that the government charges very high fees for any businesses that has a concert or a show. So each show can cost the venue hundreds of euros just in fees.
Yeah.
For most businesses, that's just not doable.
It's really sad because they could have so much music and it could just enliven the town so much. For us, it's been a real struggle to find places to play. We traveled all around the north. We've spoken to venue owners to see if we could set something up. And some of these owners are struggling so much. And some of them actually ended up closing up their venues just a month or two after we were talking to them.
Yeah, a lot of them have closed. Drum roll. We are excited to announce that we have finally found a venue in Porto. It's an awesome place that is very supportive of the arts. We'll be playing a concert there in December, and then we're going to be playing many more shows there throughout 2026, hopefully.
We'll put details in the description below this video if you're interested in seeing us play in Porto.
So, 4 years ago, we came as strangers to this country, and Portugal immediately charmed us. And now with all the quirks and all the negative stuff that we might have mentioned in this video, the ups and downs, our bond to this country has only grown deeper and stronger. We are so grateful to the people that we've met here with all their kindness, and we're so grateful to have had the opportunity to live here and experience this life and this place, Portugal.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you on the next one.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through